The Maywood Community Seventh-day Adventist Church, they partnered with us, sponsored these kids, took them under their wing, entered 2 separate youth basketball teams into the CFL. We talk about high school age shorties. So shorties who had every ability in the world to be on the big stage at their high school level and go to big games and have crowds and crowds of people come out and cheer and support and see all of the hard work that they done put in for all of these years. Right? That's all they wanted. That's all they wanted. But when that was taken away from them because of some favoritism of some coach, the books wasn't attracting them. Let's be honest. Let's be honest, y'all. We talk about 1999. All right? We just coming out of the No Child Left Behind era. That was packaged and sold to us as some great education reform when we all know that it was to me, I'm not going to say we all know. To me, D Nut the lifeguard, it was just cooking the books. Okay? Anytime that you offer somebody a certificate of whatever the certificate was called, instead of dropping out a high school, they issued these certificates under No Child Left Behind. So you would get this certificate. You wouldn't get your GED. You wouldn't get your high school diploma. You would get these certificates. And then the certificate wasn't worth nothing to you. It wasn't worth anything to the student, because you can't go and get a Pell Grant with that certificate. You weren't getting accepted into a university or even probably a junior college with that certificate. When you went and talked to most employers, they didn't even honor the certificate. What is that certificate? We're looking for someone with a high school diploma. So, the one thing that they love, they can't do, so a lot of them drop out. Now, I'm not making excuses for them. That's why I was working every day. And that's why 8 of the cats that ended up in our program ended up going on to higher education. So, I'm not saying don't go to school. I'm just saying go to school for access. Go to school for access to ownership. Go to school for access to liberty. So, all of these things are resources that I have had access to and that I utilize to save a life. And I'm telling you that every time I took a resource that I was given access to, and I used it in a lifeguard situation to save someone else's life, I'm telling you that the resources were multiplied. From showing up in Chicago with just basketball skills and a reality rap group called Alien Nation and a history of working with E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher for 4 years at that time, from 95 to 99. That's what I showed up with to Chicago with. And when I left Chicago, I left with a 501c3 nonprofit organization called the Good Samaritans. We fed countless homeless people in the Tri-Unions PADS program, thanks to Nelly Pusharita Bishop. We mentored from 8 to about 48 different young men, kept them off the streets, kept them out of the gang violence, kept them alive, through the Maywood Seventh-day Adventist Church, and J. Rob, and Ephraim Lee, and DJ Murphy, and Chantel Lee, and every last, and Alicia Winfrey, and all of the Winfreys, and Uncle Nate, and Aunt Cheryl, and Uncle Anthony, and Auntie Renata, and the whole Maywood Seventh-day Adventist Community Church, and Miss June Price, and the Department of Recreation, and the Maywood Police Department, and the Bellwood Police Department under the direction of Uncle Greg Moore. All of these are all resources that every time I used one resource to save, he took resources from somebody else who wasn't using them and gave them to me to save a life. So then I come down and I transition to Orlando, Florida. And this is where SBI, Saving My Life, again comes in.